welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So today for you I have my mid-August wrap-up. It is currently August 19th and I am struggling this month. If you've watched my recent videos, you know that I went to Disney for the first 8 days of the month, which was perfect. Like, I really didn't expect to do much reading then anyways, but I thought when I got back I would be right back in the groove and reading, and no. It has not been happening for me, and I don't know what to do, but it is what it is. This month is always usually pretty chaotic, just like with the fact that we're going back to school. We're trying to eke out the last moments of summer. I'm really trying to enjoy being with my kids and my husband, so like it is what it is, and I'm not going to beat myself up over it, but it is frustrating me. So let's just dive in. So I've only finished 3 books, and I've DNF'd 2, and I'm currently reading 3 others. The first book that I DNF'd this month was The Amendment, and this is by Kristen Magdalene. This is the sequel to The Arrangement, and I really like The Arrangement. The Arrangement was about a couple who they get together, and, well, not they get together, they're already married, and they're kind of going through the struggles of marriage, but they don't want to get divorced. They have children. They're trying to figure out how to make it work. Therapy's not working. Like, nothing is working for them. So they come up with this, like, arrangement where, like, okay, like, on Tuesdays, the wife gets to go out and do whatever she wants. She can date. She could do, as long as she doesn't, and, like, come home and, like, as if nothing happened. And, like, his days are, like, Thursdays or something like that. So, like, they alternate weeks, I think, and days of, like, when they can kind of have free reign to do whoever they want or be whoever they want, and basically have any relationship that they want. But things go wrong, majorly wrong. And this is the sequel, so this kind of takes place like right after the first one ends. There's lots of crazy twists and sinister things that kind of happen towards the end of the first book, and this is where this one takes off. And it's just boring. Like, I could not get into this to save my life. I forgot how far I got into it. It's only like 200 pages, and I was like, you can do this. You can do this. You can do it. And I was like, I can't. I honestly can't. It was just very, like, dull, and nothing was happening, and just, like, even the conversations that were happening were just, like, it was not happening. So I DNF'd that one. So I decided to pick up The Best Friend. This is a book that I got through, I want to say, Minotaur Books. This is a book that is about 2, like, best friends, and they were really good friends in high school, and then kind of, like, they go their separate ways. I got 30% in, and the writing style is so odd. I don't even know how to describe how this writing style was, but it was very choppy. It wasn't really giving you a ton of detail. It just was, like, giving you the bare minimum and just letting you run with it. And, like, the timelines would change really quickly. Like, we would see, like, a snippet of them at a certain age, and then we'd see another snippet of them at a different age, and then another snippet of them at a different age, and it wasn't working for me again, and I had to DNF it. Like, it was not working. I ended up picking up The Measure by Nikki Erlich. I picked this up as a Kindle book. And I had really, really high hopes for this book. This book is a, like, dystopian type style book where we are living in our world, and one morning everybody over the age of 22 wakes up to a box on their doorstep, and in the box there is a string, and it says this string, like, this will measure your life. And suddenly they start to question, like, some people have short strings, some people have long strings. There's also the conversation of, do we even open the box? What do we do when we get the box? And they're like, is the box even real? Is this telling the truth? And then, like, the next morning when, like, new people turn 22, they get the box. And it's kind of that storyline of, like, do we open it? Do we not open it? How does it affect our jobs? How does it affect our government? How does it affect our relationships with others? There's a lot of discussion about that. I had high hopes about this one, and it's definitely, like, a character-driven story driven by these short string, long string conversations, but there's not, like, a lot of, like, action. Like, I was still picturing, like, a lot of, like, plot, and it really wasn't very plot driven. You're following a whole bunch of different characters, and you will see eventually that they do tie together, but it took like a long time to obviously get to that point. And there is a lot of government driven conversation in here, which I was not expecting. So like, it was good. I understand what the author was trying to do and trying to say and trying to accomplish, but I just wanted it to be kind of done in a more fun way, if that makes sense. So I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I also read Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I had been feeling super slumpy, especially after like those DNFs in that one, and I was like, I need something that I know is going to suck me in, and I loved Rock, Paper, Scissors back in January, and this one was compared to And Then There Were None and Clue, and I was like, we're in, right? Yeah, no. I gave this one 3.5 stars. This is following a girl named Daisy, and she comes from a family with 2 sisters. Her parents are divorced, and she has a grandmother, and her grandmother lives on this like remote island, and she's about to turn 80, and she wants everybody to come for her birthday because she has like been told that this is going to be her last birthday. So they all go there, and she kind of reveals her inheritance ideas, and then mysteriously, one by one, everybody starts to die. And again, this should be fantastic, but I was so bored. It's hard because like I don't really want to talk about what itself bothered me, because I feel like in a way, I don't know if it would spoil everything, but for me, like it just bothered me. We dwell a lot in the past, I will say that. We dwell a lot on the past, and I was just like, but I want the current moment. I want to see them trying to figure out who did it. I want them to find clues. I want them to just like, I wanted Clue. And like, the author is definitely very clearly inspired by Clue, very inspired by And Then There Were None. Like, there were so many of those elements in here, but I just wanted a plot that was moving and not a character study. So unfortunately, I gave it 3.5 stars. The twist came, and I was like, well, is this genius? Is this like, does this redeem everything that I was bored by? I'm not sure. So that's why I'm going with 3.5 and not 3. So it was okay. And then I read Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I listened to this one on audio through Libro FM. This book comes out August 30th, so it's right around the corner. This one I thought was kind of fun. I'm kind of glad that I listened to it on audio. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much reading it physically. This is about Carrie Soto. It's historical fiction, aka it takes place in the late 80s, early 90s. So like that cringes me to say that that's historical fiction, because I was born in 1990. So the fact that that's historical is scary. But we're following Carrie Soto. She is a very famous tennis player. And we're just following her career. We're following how she got started. We're following like when she started getting famous, a little bit after her career. It does have a love story in it, but it also really focuses on like figuring yourself out, and this relationship with her father was like really sweet. I really liked watching him really try to impart wisdom on Carrie. I wish she listened a little more, but like he was just a very sweet man, and I just was like, I want to know him. I want him to be my friend. I want him to be my dad. Like, he was just very sweet. I have to say, I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. There is a lot of tennis, so if you feel like that might be overwhelming, it might be overwhelming for you, because it'll be like in the middle of a match, and it'll be like, and then I hit it here, ace, and then I did this and that, and I'm like, I know nothing about tennis, so a little bit of it just kind of like went over my head. I will say the thing that makes me sad is like, I fell in love with Taylor Jenkins Reid as a contemporary writer with like things that make you think. So like, I fell in love with One True Love. So like, what happens if like you're married and your husband disappears, and like you remarry, like you're about to get remarried and your husband reappears, or like After I Do, like that trial separation from your husband for a year, and then like, what does that do for your relationship? And like, I loved that version of Taylor Jenkins Reid, even maybe in a different life, where you kind of had the tool timelines of like what if I made this choice? And what if I made that? Like, I just remember explaining her books when I first started reading her as like this author that makes you think. And I liked Evelyn Hugo. And then ever since then, it just kind of has like pittered in a different direction, which is fine. Like, obviously as a writer, she's going to do what she's got to do. But like, I just miss the old stuff. But I will say that I enjoyed this one because I know, like, I was not a fan of Daisy Jones and the Six. I was okay with Malibu Rising. So I'm excited to say that, like, I enjoyed this one and I gave this one 4 stars, but I just, like, I miss her old writing. Am I alone in that? I don't know. The books that I'm currently reading, I am, like, 7% into The Red Cross Orphans by Glennis Peters. This is a historical fiction book that was sent to me. I can't remember by who. Oh my god, I'm like blanking. I want to say it was like, was it HarperCollins? Yeah, HarperCollins sent it. Whew! I like didn't want to say the wrong name. So they sent me a list of some historical fiction novels and let me choose one, and I chose this one. This is one about Kitty. She's an orphan. When we meet her, she's older. She was an orphan, and she decides that she wants to volunteer for the Red Cross. And then she kind of makes these friendship bonds with other women that are signing up for the Red Cross as well. And I haven't gotten to the point yet, but I know that the Blitz is coming. So obviously we're going to see her being a nurse through all that. And then I think she becomes close with a doctor, I want to say. Like I said, I'm not very far in. I didn't really want to know a ton about the synopsis, but right now where I am is Kitty has just joined the Red Cross. She's left her family, and she is with these girls, and they end up in this boarding house, and this boarding house is like, I only expected 2 of you. There's 4 of you. What are we going to do? So, like, I'm excited to see, like, where that ends up going. So it's really good so far. I just have to find the, like, mindset to actually, like, sit and devour it. And then I'm also reading The It Girl by Ruth Ware. Ruth Ware, I think, has become just, like, one of those, like, writers who, like, it's just a slow journey that you take. Like, she's not going to be one that, like, you could, like, binge read at this point. I'm about 112 pages in. I was trying to read yesterday, and that was not happening with said kiddos, which is fine. But this one is about a girl named Hannah, and she goes away to college, and she kind of makes friends and roommates with this, like, it girl, April. And we know, because it's told in 2 perspectives, we know that April has gone missing, that she goes missing in college, and we're following the past perspective of, like, seeing what happened and, like, how how their friendship developed and, like, what happened to April. But then we're also following a current timeline of Hannah still, like, trying to deal with her friend going missing, and she's pregnant and hormonal, and she's starting to, like, freak out. She always is constantly thinking, like, April is somewhere, and currently the person who went to jail for April's, like, murder disappearance has died. So, like, it's kind of like re-throwing this whole case back into the eyes of the public. People believe that the guy who died really wasn't involved, and Hannah is the reason why, like, she was, like, the testimony that really, like, solidified him going to jail. So she's worried that, like, what if I'm remembering things wrong? What if it's my fault that he was there? Like, what if I did something wrong? So it's interesting, just very much slower paced than I was expecting. So I'll get through that one at some point. And then I'm over 50%. I think I only have like 2 hours and 20 minutes left of this one. This is Honey and Spice by Balu Babolala. That's not it. Babalola. I don't really know. I'm really sorry. This one I'm reading through Libro FM's ALC program as well. I have the audio for it. And this one's, I don't even know. don't think I'm the right demographic for this one. Just in terms of like, it is like, I know I love a good college story, but like this one is like very college story. We are following Kiki, which is funny because that's what my daughter calls her grandmother. We're following Kiki, and she's in college, and she is running like this podcast with like her best friend. But there's also like this guy who's kind of like a womanizer that she kind of like gets involved with, and she kind of like hates him, but also like wants to jump his bones every 30 seconds. And they have like this really weird dynamic because they keep coming together as like, I hate you, but like they also keep coming back together like, I love you. And I'm at a point in the story where they finally realize that they can kind of like work together for their common goals. Like he wants to film something for his class, and she needs her podcast to go a certain direction. So they kind of have, this is like a enemies to lovers, but also like fake dating. There's just like a lot going on. And I just feel like it's more spicy than, obviously it's Honey and Sweets. It's a little more spicier than I was expecting. And it just, I don't know if this story was really what I don't even know what, I'm not going to lie, I don't even know why I picked it up. I think I saw some people that were like talking about it, but I also feel like nothing's really happening. I don't know. I wanted something more from this. I don't know what I wanted, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just talking in circles. But yeah, I will be finishing this one soon. We'll see how the ending turns out. And that's it. That's my reading for this month so far. Hopefully at the end of the month I will have better things to say, and more things to say. But we shall see, because I go back to work on Monday and I'm 100% dreading it. So we'll see how that goes. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys really soon. Bye, everybody.